At last, following 7 days of holding up, Episode 7 of Place of the Mythical Serpent has been delivered. Episode 7 of the second time of Place of the Mythical Beast includes probably the most stunning disclosures of the time. In the initial scene of Episode 7, Rhaera Targaryen defies Adam Vaelron, who had as of late subdued the mythical beast Ocean Smoke, an accomplishment that put him at the focal point of court interests and doubts. After the subduing, Adam speedily escaped to an ocean side, looking for a snapshot of respite and lucidity despite the ramifications of his activities. Rhaera, mindful of the emblematic and key force of another mythical serpent rider, moved toward him with a combination of watchfulness and interest. In the midst of the sound of waves and the pungent breeze, Adam, realizing that his future relied upon Rhaera's response, swore devotion to her. He made sense of that in spite of the fact that his introduction to the world was ill-conceived. His heart was valid, and his obligation to his family and her was faithful. Rhaera, surveying the truthfulness as would be natural for him and perceiving the important expansion that another mythical beast rider addressed for her objective, chose to acknowledge him. This act reinforced her situation in the conflict, as well as made an impression on her devotees and foes about her eagerness to esteem dedication and expertise over unadulterated blood. Consequently, the connection among Rhaera and Adam was laid out under the indication of common trust as the two of them arranged for the difficulties ahead in the contention desolating Westeros. Vermithor and Silverwing are CLA guaranteed by Hugh and Ulf. Others endeavor to guarantee them first, yet fall flat and are copied alive. Ulf is plastered when he guarantees Silverwing in a development. Hugh the Sledge, a man of humble beginnings yet extraordinary aspirations, chooses to go to Dragonstone, spurred by the grievous passing of his little girl, which he credits to the Greens, the opponent group in the nationwide conflict of the Dance of the Mythical Serpents. This individual misfortune escalates his craving for retribution and assurance to guarantee the influence denied to him. At Mythical Beast Stone, Hugh faces the perilous test of endeavoring to guarantee Vera, quite possibly of the most impressive and dreaded mythical serpent. Before his prosperity, a few men had proactively died in their endeavors to move toward the winged serpent being copied alive by the monster that endured nobody had considered dishonorable anyway. Hugh, driven by his torment and wrath, figures out how to lay out a security with Vera guaranteeing him as his winged serpent. This accomplishment not just lifts his status and influence inside the contention, yet additionally supports the place of the Blacks drove by our Targaryen in their battle for the iron-privileged position and equal. Wolf the White, a person known for the two his grit and affection for liquor, figures out how to guarantee Silverwing while in a smashed state. Riding Silverwing, Ulf carelessly adventures far, drawing the consideration of Targaryen, an imposing mythical beast rider and clever planner of the Greens. Amond, riding the gigantic winged serpent, Vhagar chooses to seek after Ulf, driving him to Mythical Serpent Stone. Thereon experiences an upsetting sight. Mythical beast siege youngsters of blended Targaryen plummet alongside their winged serpents, preparing and coordinating under Rhaena's watch. This scene made it clear to On that, as far as mythical serpents and riders, they were dwarfed. Perceiving the risk of a head-on conflict and Rhona's essential prevalence at that point, On picked over retreat, getting back to Lord's arrival with disturbing information about their enemies becoming stronger. This experience not just featured the significance of mythical beasts in the conflict, yet additionally highlighted the consistent strain and risk encompassing the heroes in this battle for control of the Seven Realms. The mythical beast Sheep Stealer doesn't show up in this episode, yet Rhaena chose to find it. The mythical beast will certainly show up in the following episode 8, and it is said to have the best plan of the multitude of winged serpents in the new episode Sheep Stealer, perhaps of the most baffling and wild mythical serpent in Western didn't show up, yet its presence was felt in the choices of the characters. Rhaena Targaryen, a youthful princess with a solid association with mythical serpents, communicated her assurance to find Sheep Stealer, known for its capricious way of behaving and inclination for eating creatures. Subsequently, its name. This winged serpent, whose set of experiences and appearance have fascinated the two characters inside the show's universe and watchers, has been the subject of legends and tales. Sheep Stealer is supposed to make a marvelous entry in the following episode, raising assumptions with remarks about its visual plan, which is supposed to be the most amazing of the multitude of mythical serpents introduced up until this point. Rhaena's quest for Sheep Stealer isn't just an endeavor to get one more impressive partner in the continuous conflict, yet in addition a work to declare her own place and heritage in the Targaryen adventure. The inevitable Appearance of Sheep Stealer guarantees not just a presentation of visual and story influence, yet in addition a pivotal improvement in the plot as winged serpents and their riders become key individuals. Is in the influence game unfurling in Westeros. In the meantime, in a board scene, youthful Daeron Targaryen is referenced with energy and assumption. The councils report that Daeron has ridden his winged serpent. Interestingly, a critical second representing his entrance into the nationwide conflict. Field as a functioning player. The news that Daeron has subdued Turon, his mythical serpent, fills the committee individuals with confidence who find in this reality urgent support for the high pinnacle for powers. The capacity to ride mythical serpents is a strong image of power and strength in the Targaryen tradition, and with Daeron now in the air, the high pinnacle armed force feels reinforced. The possibility of a youthful winged serpent and its rider joining the contention raises the spirit of the soldiers and imparts dread in their adversaries, considering the potential obliteration another winged serpent could bring to the war zone. We see Silverwing and a bronze-winged serpent. That gives off an impression of being Virer in the midst of the quest for the mythical serpent seeds and the fierce nationwide conflict. The locating of the mythical beast Silverwing grabs everybody's eye. Silverwing, with its silver scales and grand wingspan, Silverwing, once ridden by sovereign Alysanne Targaryen, is known for its generally quiet disposition and readiness to be ridden as opposed to Drogon's wild nature. This winged serpent, an image of the Targaryen set of experiences and magnificence, addresses an immediate association with their genealogy and genealogical influence, something Rora and her supporters wish to tackle in their battle for the privileged position. Close by, Silverwing Virer stands apart as a forcing and fearsome figure. Virer, with its dazzling bronze scales and colossal size, was presented in Season 1 of Place of the Mythical Beast and is quite possibly of the most remarkable mythical beast alive. Known as the Bronze Rage, Vermithor was once ridden by Lord Yaris V. Targaryen and has been riderless since the demise of its past mount. Its attendance at Mythical Beast Stone is a consistent sign of the influence the Targaryens can release with its residential and thunder and decimating breath of Shoot. Virer is an image of the crude strength and dread that winged serpents address in the realm of Westeros. The connection between these two winged serpents, Silverwing and Vermithor, mirrors the duality of the Targaryens, the harmony among excellence and savagery, harmony and battle, while Silverwing motivates deference and trust. Vermithor imparts dread and regard. Rhaenyra and her partners comprehend that dominating these mythical serpents won't just furnish them with a definitive military benefit, yet in addition build up their authenticity and case to the high position. The errand of asserting Virer is particularly essential given its influence and the trouble of finding a commendable rider. Jace and the other winged serpent seed searchers realize that every one of these winged serpents could steer the conflict, and they will gamble with all that to guarantee that these strong creatures are their ally in the approaching fight. Music. At last, following 7 days of holding up, Episode 7 of Place of the Mythical Serpent has been delivered. Episode 7 of the second time of Place of the Winged Serpent includes the absolute most stunning disclosures of the time. In the initial scene of Episode 7, Rhaenyra Targaryen goes up against Adam Vaelron, who had as of late restrained the mythical beast Ocean Smoke, an accomplishment that set him at the focal point of court interests and doubts. After the restraining, Adam swiftly escaped to an oceanside, looking for a snapshot of respite and lucidity despite the ramifications of his activities. Rhaenyra, mindful of the emblematic and key influence of another mythical beast rider, moved toward him with a combination of watchfulness and interest. In the midst of the sound of waves and the pungent breeze, Adam, realizing that his future relied upon Rhaenyra's response, swore dependability to her. He made sense of that despite the fact that his introduction to the world was ill-conceived. His heart was valid, and his obligation to his family and her was immovable. Rhaenyra, evaluating the genuineness in the most natural-sounding way for him, and perceiving the important option that another mythical beast rider addressed for her objective, chose to acknowledge him. This act reinforced her situation in the conflict as well as made an impression on her supporters and adversaries about her ability to esteem steadfastness and expertise over unadulterated blood. In this manner, the connection among Rhaenyra and Adam was laid out under the indication of shared trust, as the two of them arranged for the difficulties ahead in the contention attacking Westeros. Vermithor and Silverwing are CLA guaranteed by Hugh and Ulf. Others endeavor to guarantee them first, yet fizzle And our copied alive Ulf is tanked when he asserts Silverwing in a development Hugh the Mallet, a man of humble starting points yet extraordinary aspirations, chooses to go to Dragonstone, persuaded by the lamentable demise of his little girl, which he credits to the Greens, the adversary group in the nationwide conflict of the Dance of the Winged Serpents. This individual misfortune heightens his longing for vengeance and assurance to guarantee the influence denied to him at Mythical Serpent Stone. Hugh faces the perilous test of endeavoring to guarantee Vera, quite possibly of the most remarkable and dreaded winged serpent before his prosperity. A few men had previously died in their endeavors to move toward the winged serpent being copied alive by the monster that endured nobody had considered shameful anyway. Hugh, driven by his agony and fierceness, figures out how to lay out a security with Vera asserting him